my God, 3 people are already watching. Hello, guys. Let me know if the audio is working. I did not get the notification for this, so that's not good. Kind of need that for me to be able to share it, the link. 5 people watching. Hey, guys. Please like this, you know. Okay, I found it. I still didn't get the notification. They suspended your Twitter. Oh my God. Did they give you a reason why? Twitter is really up to no good. You saw that Twitter has been spying on it was just like there was one person from the US, like one US official, and then 2 Saudi Arabian people with ties to Saudi Arabia that were spying on by using and they were getting information like your birthday, your name. I told Abby. That's it. And yeah, she's a little bit sensitive, no offense, but she does block people, and I'm not surprised that she did that, but that's really sad. 31 watching. Hey, folks. Tulsi time. Yeah. I think I'm going to wait like 10 minutes or so. So I'm going to answer questions or comments, whatever you might have. A little LOL. I don't know what that is about. Damn, I forgot to change the thumbnail. I always do that. Niko's going to kill me. Whatever. Hey, Brian, Natalie, and Avila. Hey, John. ¿Dónde está Niko? He's not here today. I mean, I think he might do something later on. You said Abby is a little sensitive. Yeah. Hi, Adrian. Hi, Karen. Oh, Fuentes. Yeah, Niko is not here, but Abby used to be better. I'm a little disappointed. Yeah, she actually didn't respond to what I said. I mean, I didn't necessarily say anything about what Abby said. But she responded to someone else, and then she was just kind of, gassing up Bernie. And she was saying, what did she say? Bernie is also the only one who humanizes Palestinians and talks about leveraging military aid. I found it interesting that this outrage over a couple valid criticisms I made miss my point. No savior 2020, because change has to come from building a massive anti-war people's movement. But I told her, like, if there's no savior, then you wouldn't be saying things like, I find it strange that Tulsi Gabbard is running against Bernie Sanders. That to me is why I dislike her the most. Like, so I called her out on that. She never directly responded to me as far as I know. But what did I miss? Abby, yeah, she does really great work though, at work watching the stream. That's pretty rebellious. Oh, so they didn't tell you if you were permanently suspended? That's really weird. So they didn't even give you a time frame? Yeah, Abby Martin. Yeah, Natalie said that she told she told Abby, fuck you. So I have to fight Bernie Kratz all the time about, yeah, I know. They hear the word choice and then they think public option. But I'm gonna do a video about nice that you're watching this at work too. I'm going to be doing a video about the public option versus like Medicare for all, and why the public option is designed to fail. Because that's something that I think people know that Medicare for all is like the gold standard and that's the best plan, but I don't think necessarily they know exactly why the public option is bad. But but yeah. Don't get bumped off. They're going live my time at 5. So I'm just going to cover this story, and then I'll cover, it's single payer plus. Yeah. I'll cover, cause I went to the View yesterday. So I got to see Tülsi live. So I got to see some behind the scenes stuff. So I'll probably talk about that a little bit. It'll probably be, if I do make it a separate video, it'll be like 4 minutes. It's not, maybe even shorter than that. But, the Time article about the history of single payer. I think I have. I might be wrong though. Like I might be confused which one. But yeah, they're going live at 5. So it's 3:36 my time. So I'll start in, I don't know, when did I start this? 5 minutes ago. So in like 5 more minutes, I'll start covering this. I'm just waiting for people to hop on. And this shouldn't be that long. I'm gonna go through the whole article. Wow, the article just disappeared. That's great. I had it literally popped. Oh, it's right here. Yeah, it was by this guy that he's definitely an Al-Qaeda propagandist. So, but whatever. Sofia, hey Firepuff. Hi, Sofia, Prototype. Hi, Prototype. I don't know your name, but what did I miss? Aloha 2020, true. I heard Whoopi and Tülsi got into it after the show. They did. You'll hear about that at the end. It was mostly Whoopi. She was confronting Tülsi. Hey, Dingo. Yay. I think in the people's eyes, Tülsi has a better chance of beating Trump than Bernie. Yeah. Tülsi means, yeah, free Assange. I think I might cover Assange too. What John Pilger wrote. It was really good. Did Tülsi qualify? Yes, she did. Wait, you were at that taping? Yes. Oh, I was like so close to Joy when she was walking off. It was so funny. I didn't like, everyone was like, hi Joy, like even people who like Tülsi, but I was just not happy with her. So crowd at the View loved Tülsi. Yeah. And the comment section on that video were pretty awesome. It was a good ratio. Is this Sofia? Yes, it is. Oh shit, I just realized that I chose for it to go live on the channel, but it is live on this channel. I guess it's live on both. But yeah, this is me. I should change my profile picture because I don't necessarily look like that. This has been my Twitter. You just made my day. I don't know if you're talking about me. It's called Medicare for All's Surprising Origins. Was that the article about how the initial Medicare plan was actually Medicare for all, but then the conservatives pushed so that it was just 65 plus? I don't know. Really? So would you hear that? Tülsi showed those ladies. Yes, she did. Love John Pilger. Yeah, he's awesome. He went on RT. He did a good interview. Hey, Sofia, love your tweets. Thank you, M. Oss. Someone on Twitter. Yes, you. Aloha, Sofia. Oh, thanks. I think you said I made your day. I guess it's thanks or you're welcome. I don't know how I'd respond to that. I'm going to find you. Yes, make a new Twitter and follow me, and I'll give you a shout out. You can make one right now, and I'll give you a shout out. I'm a proud Tulsel, and that's totally true. Yeah, I'm sick of the Tulsel crap. Your tweets are fire. Thank you. I told Abby a few. That was so funny. It doesn't tell me now how long it's been. Yeah, I'm gonna wait like a couple more minutes. You have 100 people watching. I'm debating someone who thinks Bernie is better on foreign policy. Lol. I do that every day. It's so funny. The View has teamed up with Anna Kay. Did you guys watch that segment that Anna did with John and I don't know who the other person was? It was so funny. I clipped part of it because I just thought it was. Does The View think they have the right to be disrespectful? Well, Joy thought that Tülsi was disrespectful to her and she didn't like her behavior, she said. So I would love to see Ana Navarro and Sunny. Oh my God, yeah, because Sunny worked with Kamala, right? But says you are Niko House. Yeah, I know. I mean, it's I don't know why it's saying that it's doing it for my own personal channel, which has like 47 subscribers. I would love to, yeah. TYT especially, I know they did. Of course they did. Popping in for a second on my break. Hey, Kimberly. I think your name is Kimberly, right? It's Kimber on here. So I get the notifications, but 10 minutes after. Oh, well, that's good that I'm waiting like 10 minutes then. Then I'll wait like 15 minutes. Oh my God, I just missed so much stuff. Twitter prevents you from examining the activities of US. Oh, I don't think you were talking to me. Anna Kay is a donut. True. She just doesn't want to admit it. It sucks. It was uninformed and lazy, which they accused of The View of being. I know. How do I respond with Bernie stands with Lula? Listen, I don't think Bernie's position on Lula is bad. No, Tulsi's never been asked about Lula. I don't know if she knows enough about what's going on there. I think she might follow Glenn on Twitter, so she might follow his work, but I'm not going to argue and say that Tülsi is somehow superior. But you emailed Niko about TYT's reaction. Yeah, I already tweeted about that because it was so stupid. I'm not even going to respond to it. Just Kimber. Oh, okay. Sorry, I thought it was Kimberly. But I mean, yeah, you just have to look at it holistically. Like, go through every single issue, go through his record. To Firepuff12, who was saying people always bring up the Lula thing. People who do that watch Michael Brooks. That's how they got that. They might have hashtag left is best in their bio too. 99% chance increase. Sofia, what do you think about Abby Martin? She said Tülsi should drop out. I think she can suck it. But Bernie Tülsi 2020. Skip over my post. What did you say? I don't know what you said. There were like too many things coming in at once. It's hard to see. Brooks Zach, yeah. It's okay. Yeah, what Abby said was ridiculous. That was really embarrassing. Yeah, I can pull it up. Ready? Let me see if I can get it right now. She said, I find it very strange that Tülsi Gabbard is running against Bernie. Well, to be fair, she didn't say she should drop out, but I mean, she's kind of suggesting it when she says, I find it very strange that Tülsi Gabbard is running against Bernie Sanders. That to me is why I dislike her the most. So yeah, Abby needs to take that BS back to Telesur. She did good stuff for Telesur. Oh, good call. Tülsi announced first. Exactly. He said that Tülsi was against Venezuelan socialism. Do they realize that Bernie's stance on Venezuela? He was basically saying, like, I don't want brown socialism. I want white socialism from Scandinavia, even though it's the same thing in Venezuela, except on top of that, they have the world's #1 oil reserves. So as a result, and they're not, NATO allies. So they get crippling sanctions. And then we say that socialism is bad, even though they're a third world social democracy. What happened with Abby, even on Rogan, I watched her Rogan thing and I've been talking, I just realized, for probably like 15 minutes, but we have 117 people watching. I forget what I was saying. What she said broke my heart. Yeah, I was really disappointed. Abby's showing signs of bias. Yeah. On TYT, John was like, she should ignore the attacks and focus on policy. Yeah. Anna said that Tülsi doesn't focus on policy and that's her issue. I was like, okay. But oh yeah, Abby on Joe Rogan, she said Bernie is her guy, and then when asked to, back up why he's her guy, she just talked about like domestic policy. And I was like, I thought you were an expert or whatever on foreign policy, but whatever. Precisely, Tülsi announced first. Yep. Orf's Bernie videos. Any suggestion for advocating for Bernie Tülsi? I don't know. Bernie called Maduro a dictator. Yes, he called him a vicious tyrant, and he questioned the integrity of those elections. Tülsi can win against any candidate. True. She dislikes Tülsi for being Tülsi. Bernie is clueless on foreign policy. Yes, he is. Sad to say. It said it started 13 minutes ago. I don't get any notifications. Damn, that's really disappointing. Why are people talking about? Yeah, we are talking about Abby Martin. Abby should join Anna now. Abby's work is better than Anna's work. Right? That's what I thought. Bernie sucks on Venezuela. Yeah, Tülsi recognized that Maduro is the leader of that country. He's the democratically elected leader of that country. I don't know exactly what Bernie would do regarding Venezuela. I think in his CFR, they had like a questionnaire for the candidates. He talked about how broad sanctions are hurting regular Venezuelans, but I don't necessarily know what he means by broad sanctions. I don't know if then he's just suggesting that we should only have targeted sanctions, which only work 20% of the time, or he didn't necessarily say he would lift them, but whatever chance that Tülsi gets, she always says, hands off Venezuela. We need to, end these crippling sanctions. Yeah, Bernie needs to set, yeah. I think he was asked about sanctions on Cuba, Iran, and I'm forgetting one more country, I think. I don't know. Maybe you guys can help me out. He was asked by Kyle. There are three countries, but I can't remember now. What do you think of Tülsi Gabbard, Jesse Ventura? That would be awesome. Sofia rocks. Thank you, Jack. Nice to see you, Sofia. Loving your contributions. Thanks, Freedom Tribe. Truth is a new hate speech. You'll see with what I'm about to cover here. Tülsi is actually a complete package. Yeah, she is. When is Bernie going to do an election security bill? He started writing one, and it was a really watered down one in 2018, I think it was. Sorry, I have a really bad memory. Code Pink said Bernie is. Oh, that was really, yeah. They said that Bernie has a better anti-war record than Tülsi. I mean, just in the past, under the Obama administration, that's when you really see the differences between the two, because Bernie resists a little bit more under Republican administration. That's why he resists, the war in Yemen under the Trump administration, but not under the Obama administration. There's like a pattern there. So yeah, I wasn't a fan of what they said. I mean, they did have some legitimate criticisms of Tülsi, which is fine. But I just thought overall, it was pretty shameful what they decided to do. They definitely whitewashed his record. Oh my God, I missed a lot. Iran, Cuba, and Russia. I didn't realize that he asked about Russia too. I guess he did, because I know that Bernie has said that he does support sanctions on Russia because of him buying into Russiagate. He thinks that that regular Russians, he obviously doesn't see this yet, but he's basically saying regular Russians should be punished for the decisions of their government, which that never happened in the first place. But North Korea, I think you're right. I think it was North Korea. I don't think it was Russia. That's why I was surprised. AOC also sides, yeah, I mean, she deferred to caucus leadership. That was terrible. Sanctions have a long history of ruining countries, but he needs to study them more. Yeah, I know. I was always suspicious of Abby. That's how she survived Israel critiques. I like Abby. She does good work, but so far has it in the bag. Yeah. That's exactly. Clouds her perceptions. Bernie is too easy to control. He got behind Hillary, who cheated him. No comment. They were crashing sanctions for a decade before. So sad, Abby. Yeah. Joe's my friend. How come when talking about Venezuelan elections, no one brings up? Yeah, Jimmy Carter says it wasn't. Yeah, Convo Catch asked Tulsi about that. She said that she had never heard his statement before, but they do have some of the most secure elections, and it makes our elections look like a joke, which they already are on their own. But they have like fingerprint verifications. It's paper ballots, and they verify it on TV. You know, they go through and count all of them. It's a joke, like, to compare us to that. What does Code Pink say on Venezuela? Even under Bush, Bernie voted horribly. It's just Trump and Bernie running for president. Yeah, under Bush, he voted for a couple of the military budgets. He obviously voted for the AUMF. I guess people can have their own thoughts on that. But he voted against the war in Iraq. But then under Clinton, he supported the Iraq Liberation Act and resolution to calling for the overthrow of Saddam Hussein and a couple of other things as well. I have to look at it again. Code Pink is demonizing Modi and by association Tulsi. Yeah. Are there any real criticisms? Yeah, there are. I think her sanctions vote for Iran, and it was like a package in 2017, and North Korea, I think that was a bad vote, and I don't support that vote. I don't defend it ever because I don't support, sanctions. I believe that vote was before she went to Syria to see the impacts of these, so-called targeted sanctions, which again only work 20% of the time. I think she should definitely be stronger on Israel-Palestine in terms of like supporting 1967, at least 1967 borders. Yeah, and there are a lot of criticisms that I have. I think she could focus a little bit more on blowback. That's why I was really supportive of her tweet recently, where she was saying like this whole imperialistic mindset where we're literally staying in Syria for oil, that's just breeding ground for terrorist groups. And that's important too, because she doesn't talk enough about blowback causing terrorism, not just the fact that we fund terrorism, that we support Saudi Arabia, which fuels that Wahhabi Salafist ideology. But yeah, there are plenty of criticisms of Tulsi, but people do not think critically. They just repeat talking points. They really like to control all sides. I was watching I do have a feeling that Bernie, Warren, Yang, and especially Buttigieg will cave. Absolutely, they already have. They played a recent video about Syria, and Abby said that Tulsi's worldview. Yeah, she talked about Tulsi being in a cult, and she said that it was like anti-Islam and homophobic. CFR was a bunch of neolibs, Evan. Oh, yeah. She enjoyed being part of it because she got to speak to a lot of, it gave her that ability to speak to experts and people that she disagrees with, but just to get their view. She talked about this in the Convo Couch interview too. Wouldn't one easy method of debunking is not a fascist? Also, Sheldon Adelson, the picture that she took with him, that was really it. That's what people. What else? What the fuck? I don't know what you're saying for Jack Smith. Tulsi has plenty of votes I disagree with. She won't be voting, so it doesn't matter. What do you mean? I can buy that. Tulsi is a true patriot. Israel funds Al-Qaeda. Oh yeah, that would be the other thing. That would be my other criticisms of Tulsi. She doesn't talk enough about Israeli influence of our foreign policy, and like with regards to especially Syria, that's a big factor. And that's even a big factor why we stayed there, to protect the Kurds, was to even Lindsey Graham went on Fox Business and he admitted this as well. Niko covered The View and Sofia was there, yeah. President is talking. She wouldn't declare a state of emergency. Okay, but climate change could extinct. I don't think she ever specifically said she wouldn't, but it depends on what the purpose is of declaring an emergency. Is that just saying to redirect all resources to climate change? I don't know the purpose of that. Abby Martin should stick to Venezuela and Palestine. Israel should make some huge mistake. Yeah, the Crimea thing was really bad. I don't know what her stance was on Ukraine. I guess it's the same, but that was really embarrassing to see. Modi is at 70% popularity. Yeah, I mean, I'm not gonna, I don't know enough about Modi to rebuke, I don't know, because the Muslim population there is small, so the 70% popularity is fairly reasonable if you took out all the Muslim population. But yeah, again, that's something that I would need to dig into. I'm not here to defend Modi or anything. Mostly agrees, but this American population we're talking about. Yeah, Abby is killing her credibility. Yeah, 50 plus years. Oh, you know what? Another criticism of Tulsi is that I have too. She says like we topple dictators, and that's been our foreign policy. First, I think she should emphasize, which she has recently been doing, that it's not just the war on terror that was counterproductive in waging these regime change wars, but that's been a huge part of the CIA, and that's what they've been doing since their very existence, is overthrowing not just dictators, but actual, democratically elected leaders that are usually left-leaning, and they want to nationalize their resources, and we go there to exploit their resources. Those leaders are getting in the way. So it's not necessarily dictators. So that's another criticism that I have heard. That just reminded me of that. I don't know why. To me, the concern about Chris Butler group is that it could be I did not know that, a CIA offshoot. Do you believe the United States, Abby is anti-war against government types that she likes? His Muslim support increased. Okay, I'd have to look at that. You have to drop me an article or something. The cold smears started by a Hawaiian pedophile. Yeah. Do you believe the United States might have a vested interest in keeping countries underdeveloped and non-nuclear for security? Yeah, of course. Like undeveloped in the sense that they have all the resources, but the US takes them. And also, of course, with the IMF, we stranglehold them, their economy. There's a difference between anti-Islam and anti-radical Islam. Yes, there is. Apparently people don't get that. Arguing over her voting record. Voting is so subjected to the bill. And yeah, but it's still a fair criticism. At this point, Yang and Tulsi are just taking votes. Oh my God, why are you even on this chat? I cannot stand people like you. Sorry. This is a democracy. Like, this is a primary. We're here to support whatever candidate best aligns with our views. So if you don't like that, then I don't know, live in an authoritarian country where you have the same leader that's elected every, for 15 years. Like, I guess enjoy that just because it's a leader that you like. But you got to respect people's decision. I don't support Yang, but I'm not going to tell anyone that they're a Yang banger and that they need to just, oh, I can't wait for Yang to drop out and endorse Tulsi. I don't say shit like that, even though I don't support Yang on any, on almost every issue. I'm sorry, I've been just talking. I suck. I'm sorry. Tell me if I should just start covering this or if I should stay talking about this or if I should actually cover the story that I'm supposed to be covering. It's because you guys have so much to say. I'm blaming it on you guys. Do you know Tulsi knows that something, and then I love it. Yeah, she also doesn't talk about that, but she did do that video where she said like whoever, like she didn't specifically say Saudi Arabia was the only one, but she just said anyone who was involved needs to be exposed, through the investigation, to release the investigation. Modi has a media cabal that hates him like WAPA. No comment. I felt that Meghan McCain was happy that Tulsi smirked her colleague. Yeah. Meghan, I think she took a picture with Tulsi at the end or something. I don't know. But she, towards the end when Tulsi was leaving, she went to talk to her for a little bit. And she wasn't confronting her. One legit, yes, I know. She sees no other option besides, the Democratic Party. I hate that. Abby is silent most of the year. Also don't like her connections to what? Sham Sharma show. Yeah, he's a right winger. It's not that I'm just like canceling him because he was a right winger, but his comments on Israel were really bad. Like the whole Israel-Palestine issue, like he was comparing that to the whole India-Kashmir issue. And I just felt that that was really inappropriate. But I question some of his coverage sometimes. But I think the TYT coverage was pretty good. War on drugs is a major reason most of Latin America was, yep. That's also something that Tulsi could talk about too. Jeffrey possibly. Oh, are you talking about Abby? Ties to the CIA? Oh, wait, no. I don't know what I'm saying. So basically anyone who criticizes Tulsi loses credibility. I never said that, ever. I was criticizing you being anti-democratic for you just saying, oh, I don't get why people, what did you say? I don't remember. I had to, at this point, Yang and Tulsi are just taking votes away from Bernie. Imagine how the polls would look for Bernie without, see, this is a primary. Expect there to be people running in the race and, siphoning votes from your guy. And again, there are many people that support Yang and Tulsi that would not support Bernie. So it doesn't even matter. And again, I thought Tulsi was low polling and that you don't want her to be in the race. Be consistent here. Is anyone going to comment about if I should start covering the story or if I should just keep reading the comments? Can you go straight into the whoopee? I can't. I'm doing that at the end. I have to make you guys stick around. Gotta go. Okay, bye, garden gnome. Should I stay or should I go? Cover the story. Okay, want to know, of course. You just want to know what I'm going to say. Yang banger? Yes, that is a term that I see often now. It's just like the tool cell crap. Stay. Okay. Oh yeah, also with Afghanistan, she should definitely say that it's about opium. I love how Abby Martin hit Tulsi for a past, but Abby, I don't know what Abby's past is. Mexico should be a rich nation. Okay. Tulsi is expanding the votes in the primary. Exactly. She's taking votes away from people like that would not support Bernie in a lot of cases. Like there are obviously a lot of progressives that might support Bernie like as their second choice, but there are so many conservatives and libertarians who would never support Bernie that they're voting for big government. They're voting for someone who's gonna provide healthcare for all, education, college for all, climate change legislation, and et cetera, just because she puts such an emphasis on civil liberties and foreign policy. Sorry. It's a dope term. No, it's not. It's a stupid smear term. Pointing out the candidate who has the best chance of changing the system, wanting to live. Yeah, I wasn't suggesting that. I'm saying that you are telling people that oh, I don't like people supporting Yang and Tulsi instead of supporting my guy. That's like you suggesting we can't have a democracy, we can't have a primary, which is the whole goal of this. That was my criticism. You're just strawmanning me at that point, SoCal. And again, Bernie has not talked about election integrity at all. So he can't win without that. And he also cannot win without actually tackling the corruption within the DNC. When he was asked about DNC rigging this election, he just said he kind of defended their actions in having to get only 20 candidates or whatever up on or 10 candidates up on a stage at a time or whatever, and they have to make a selection process for that. He defended that. So if he wants to be able to win, that same rigging process that they're using against people like Marianne and Tulsi, even though I don't even I don't support Marianne, they're going to start using that against Bernie when it comes to those polls where it's like Biden, Warren, Buttigieg, they're going to try to find a way to make sure that Bernie does not go on the debate stage. And obviously that's not even talking about like actual elections. Yeah, that's just pre-election rigging. So did Sophia talk about being at the View? If anyone answered, I did not yet. I will at the end once I cover this. Just like how Hillary wasn't entitled to votes, Bernie also isn't entitled to votes. We have a lot. Yes, you have to be principled on that front. Even if you're, like I said, I'm a Tulsi supporter, but I don't say that to Yang supporters. I don't even say that to Bernie supporters. People are free to support whatever candidate they want, and it's only my job to explain why I believe that Tulsi is the best candidate. I'm not here to defend her at all costs. I'm just here to say Tulsi is the best candidate. Here's why, and if you still don't buy it by then, I have nothing, okay, I'm not going to force you to support her. You know what I mean? So that's a kind of attitude that people need to have. No one is entitled to, Bernie's vote. There are reasons why I don't support Bernie. There are plenty of reasons why other people don't support Bernie. You have to accept that either Bernie needs to be better on those issues or, like erase his record, or we're not going to support him. So Thoughts on Bernie's immigration plan? I think I didn't really get to look at it that much. I just think it's a little weird because it was like a Vice article. They said that Bernie wants to abolish ICE and he just wants to break up ICE, and they made the headline that. So that's probably not going to help because his view, he's said before, he does not support abolishing ICE. He supports reforming the immigration system. He said, I don't support open borders when he was asked about that. So it's really disingenuous, first of all, for people to be writing articles saying that he wants to abolish ICE. And second, is probably not going to help Bernie because there are a lot of people that don't support abolishing ICE. You know, I mean, I don't mind abolishing ICE, but there are a lot of people who, you know, that's just going to be like a straw man that they're just going to use. Oh, he wants to abolish ICE, when really he just wants to break it in half and make it, I think he wants to make it like a federal agency or something. Yes, thank you, Sophia. I don't know what you were commenting, but you're welcome. Start the story. I have to go back to work. Okay. I'll start. Bernie still hasn't mentioned stealing Syria's oil. I think he made a tweet about it once, but he did not support or sponsor Tulsi's resolution in the Senate. We should abolish ICE. Yeah, sure. We didn't need ICE before. Yeah, I agree. Tulsi is the best candidate. If Bernie wants Tulsi's voters, he needs to have her policies, which he doesn't. He doesn't support her paper ballot bill. He didn't. Yep. Facts. Okay. Hi, Sophia. Why does... Okay, I'm going to start the story now. Finally. Okay, so there was an article from the HuffPo, and it was by Akbar Shahid Ahmed. And I feel like I've heard his name before. It says here that he's a foreign affairs reporter based in the DC bureau of HuffPo, a native Pakistani. Akbar has reported from across the Muslim majority world. He's also written for the Milwaukee Journal Sentinel, Generation Progress, and in Pakistan, Newsline Magazine and Dawn, and provided expert commentary for MSNBC, Al Jazeera, BBC Radio, and SXSW 2018. To give you an idea of what kind of coverage he has, he recently wrote that Tulsi article that was 2 days ago, or 1 day ago, sorry, yesterday. And he wrote an article about Bernie Sanders is proved as a new era for how Democratic candidates talk about Israel. Erdogan and Putin strike a Syria deal, taking the gift Trump offered them. But the most interesting part was I was actually just going through some information about Bernie and how he supports the white helmets, right? In Syria, how he met with them, how he praised them along with Ro Khanna. And I just realized that this was the same guy that wrote that article, and he was obviously calling them a humanitarian group, how they've been vilified, how the white helmets have been vilified to be, you know, terrorist linked or terrorist group, you know, directly, indirectly funding Al-Qaeda and Al-Nusra and HTS. But I just thought that was interesting because that gives you a wonderful perspective of where this guy is coming from when he writes an article called Tulsi Gabbard Floats 9/11 Conspiracy Theory. Okay, so the subtitle is A New Campaign Email from the Hawaii Representative Dovetails Vast Conspiracy Theories and Fear-Mongering. Okay. Representative Tulsi Gabbard, Democratic from Hawaii, wants Americans to believe that their government has concealed the truth about the September 11, 2001 attacks. The 2020 Democratic presidential contender sent out a campaign email Tuesday that hinted at a conspiracy at the highest levels of the U.S. government to stop the public from fully knowing the role that longtime U.S. partner Saudi Arabia played in the attacks. We deserve all the information on 9/11, read the subject line. In a video linked in the email and posted on Gabbard's website, alongside a petition asking President Donald Trump to declassify all information related to 9/11, Gabbard wrote, the American people still don't have access to the truth about Saudi Arabia and who helped Al-Qaeda carry out these deadly attacks. It is absolutely unacceptable that our government's investigation into Saudi ties has been kept from these 9/11 families and from the American people. There are questions galore to question U.S. Saudi ties or to be skeptical of Saudi denials of responsibilities for catastrophe, as the slow, painful revelation of the truth about Washington Post writer Jamal Khashoggi's killing shows. But Gábbárd's email does not make clear what precisely she wants to be declassified. The George W. Bush administration classified one section of the initial congressional inquiry into the attacks, known as the 28 pages, but President Barack Obama released those pages with some redactions in 2016. Yeah, it was heavily redacted, but okay. Obama's White House press secretary at the time, Josh Earnest, emphasized that the U.S. did not believe the Saudi government supported al-Qaeda, which waged a bloody campaign against Saudi authorities in the years after 9/11. Lawmakers from both parties, including key House Intelligence Committee members Adam Schiff and Devin Nunes, agreed. I hope that the release of these pages with appropriate redactions necessary to protect our nation's intelligence sources and methods will diminish speculation that they contain proof of official Saudi government or senior Saudi official involvement in the 9/11 attacks. Schiff said, I know that the release of these pages will not end debate over the issue, but it will quiet rumors over their contents, as in often the case, the reality is less damaging than an uncertainty. So the article goes on to say, despite the importance that the 28 pages took in some political circles, particularly among anti-war campaigners who felt they proved the malfeasance and a government hand were responsible for U.S. foreign policy missteps after 9/11, they were actually only part of the initial investigation into the 2001 disaster based on a wide range of initial FBI leads. Later reports, including that of the 9/11 Commission, explicitly cleared the Saudi Arabian government in the 2001 terror attacks. Still, allegations of the Saudi culpability continued, and in 2016, Congress passed a bill by overwhelming bipartisan majorities allowing the families of 9/11 victims to sue the kingdom, showing that despite the Saudis' lobbying influence and the U.S. government's fear of losing an ally, U.S. lawmakers aren't potentially beholden to them. Well, that's true. Obama vetoed it, and then they overrode that veto of JASTA. So it's pretty telling that you have the president, commander-in-chief, vetoing something that should be perfectly, fine. So he obviously took issue to that because of Saudi Arabian pressure, government pressure. In recent years, Congress has pressured Saudi Arabia in ways that it hadn't for decades over the kingdom's brutal conduct in a 4-year military intervention in Yemen and its role in Khashoggi's murder. Lawmakers are willing to flex their muscles for a range of reasons, from growing U.S. energy independence to public distaste towards Trump's cozy relationship with the Saudis' de facto ruler, Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman. But there is no current investigation, secret or otherwise, into Saudi links to 9/11. Gábbárd's 2020 campaign did not immediately respond to HuffPost's request for comment. Now, this is where this guy, I forget his name already. What's his name? Akbar Shahid Ahmed. This is where he really gets into some really weird, just a lot of smears of Tülsi, but then he even really starts standing for al-Qaeda, but you'll see. Gábbárd's disturbing new gambit fits well with her general pitch that she is the only candidate challenging a national security establishment fixated on conducting foreign wars, exploiting Americans, and playing its own intricate games. It's part of the same narrative that Gábbárd's used to attract fringe supporters on the left and right and to peddle debunked ideas with serious stakes for millions of vulnerable people, like repeatedly claiming that most Syrians fighting the country's dictator, Bashar al-Assad, are tied to al-Qaeda and other terror groups. That's not a lie. That's not a debunked idea. Because Hillary Clinton, the WikiLeaks literally revealed that she said al-Qaeda is on her side in Syria. They're the prominent rebel force. But yeah, that's just a conspiracy theory. And this guy is saying this in 2019. Like, this isn't even 2016, 2017, where people were still skeptical. This is now. So that's pretty. Assad has made the same false allegation to justify mass executions and bombing campaigns that constitute war crimes. Then he would be a war criminal and he would be prosecuted as such. And he's repeatedly developed another dishonest talking point Gábbárd shares, that he was the target of a US-driven campaign of regime change. That's a fact. Obama's actual policy was pressuring Assad to cut a deal and stop the war through tightly limited aid to rebels and political opponents while avoiding actions that could cause the collapse of Assad's government. Obama said that he drew a red line, in terms of like the gas attacks, and that Assad had crossed that, and that Assad must go. And everyone was saying Assad must go. And also, the Assad family has been a target of regime change since, I believe, the 50s. And even in, I think it was 2000, it was the early 2000s. I don't remember her name, but she was a CNN interviewer. I think her name was Maria. I don't remember her last name. She interviewed Assad, and she said, it seems that, I'm not directly quoting her, but she basically said, it seems that the winds of regime change are, coming towards you. That was in the early 2000s. So for them to act like this is something new that the US has been trying to do is just absurd. But then this person even included a picture, and it said, Tulsi Gabbard is selling herself as a vital challenger to the national security establishment and leaning on messages akin to conspiracy theories to do so. Okay. For an American like Gabbard's prominence, to speak in this darkly paranoid way is a boon for leaders like Assad and Russian President Vladimir Putin. It bolsters their strategy of pointing to American failings, real or imagined, to distract from their own abuses and of trying to undermine public faith in the US political system to delegitimize democracy and shore up their own tyrannical rule. So it's just like they're suggesting that she's being so critical of the US government that it's actually just helping Assad and Putin, rather than her just rightfully criticizing the US government for arming terrorist groups, which is not a good thing, which is against our national security interests, and it's horrible for the people of Syria and for the people of the world. But yeah, that's just her propping up those leaders for her to do that. It's delegitimizing democracy and shoring up their own tyrannical rule. Okay. Coming from a Democrat, it's also political gold for Trump. A way to say there's bipartisan approval for his assertions that he is unfairly victimized by members of a so-called deep state, largely in the US foreign policy apparatus. Trump's tapped frustration with America's national security track record in his 2016 contest with traditional Republicans and former Secretary of State Hillary Clinton, and he supported Gábbárd as she recently sparred with Clinton and promoted herself as a way for Democrats to break with what she calls the Bush-Clinton doctrine. So this person just thinks he's parroting the same points that Mehdi Hasan makes, which is, oh, it's a deep state, like it's some kind of conspiracy theory. That's very telling. And I'd love to know this guy's ties to the intelligence communities or our government in general, because for you to just and also just for him to assert that, oh, she can't be doing this because it's helping Trump. This is actually potentially hurting Trump, because she's calling on the Trump administration to be transparent with the American people. If Trump decides, if her resolution, which still has 0 co-sponsors, if it does get the amount of support that's necessary in the House and the Senate, and then it goes to Trump and he vetoes it, that's not political gold for Trump. And there's no way that he would actually support this resolution, considering his ties to Saudi Arabia, which is a violation of the Emoluments Clause in the first place. But just in general, our own government's ties to Saudi Arabia, this is never going to happen. The Saudi Arabian government is going to pressure him to not support this resolution because they want to continue to bury this under the rug. But yes, that's just a conspiracy theory. Okay. It's a reminder of how glaring holes and bad logic in the national conversation about US foreign policy and actions since 9/11 have boosted hatred against and suspicion of Muslims, allowing the kind of Islamophobia that Trump has amplified from the Oval Office to thrive and guide government policy. I'm not going to deny that Trump has been Islamophobic, and I'm not going to deny that our government before him has propped up, Islamophobic rhetoric, and like a general attitude. But to suggest that that she can't be doing something like this, because she is calling out a specific country. This is the same thing as when they equate being anti-Israel as being anti-Semitic. And here it's not really her necessarily being anti-Saudi Arabia, it's just her being against the lobbying that they've done to interfere in our government, to interfere with our foreign policy, and in this case, interfere with being transparent to the American people with something that could implicate the Saudi Arabian government. That's not a reason for her to, even though it is a brutal dictatorship and it's promoting the Wahhabi Salafist ideology, that's not a reason, like, just because it's, a sect, it's not even really a sect of Islam. It's not really true Islam for you to be spreading this kind of radical, extremism around the world. That's not a reason. So this is just absurd, but it gets worse as this article, wraps up. Gábbárd's new message about Saudi Arabia has to be understood in the context of her broader political message. She's voted to make it harder for refugees from Syria to enter the US. Okay. She probably did that because we're arming the rebels. And in the EU, they've had trouble with a lot of those refugees being extremists and being difficult to assimilate into society, but also more importantly, the actual national security threat that they pose. That was her concern with that. That's why she didn't vote to ban them, by the way. A lot of people say that she voted to ban them. She never did that. She does not support the Muslim ban. What she does support is a strict vetting process, because you even see with Venezuelan immigrants, right? We prioritize right-wing governments. That's kind of just a fact. That's why, like in Florida, you have a big, right-wing Cuban population. We prioritize the people that are helpful for us because they will spread propaganda, in the case of the Cubans, anti-Cuban propaganda, the Cuban government, and which helps our cause. So for her to just, for her to just be naive and be like, okay, we can allow anyone to come into this country, even though we know that we are literally supporting extremists in the region. I mean, I would be concerned if she didn't have any doubts with that, and it's not her being anti-Muslim, it's just her being anti, religious extremism and pro-national security and pro-vetting process, which we already have. Anyways, she's praised Egyptian President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi as he has directed an unprecedented crackdown by painting much of his population as Muslim extremists. He has been working to crack down on the Muslim Brotherhood. I'm not going to say anything more about al-Sisi because I haven't done enough research for me to say if the kind of rhetoric that has been going his way, to like from Western nations has been similar to Assad's crackdown on extremism. I can't say that for sure. But again, this person is just garbling up whatever they can think of just to, spew out and just to say that this is, first of all, they're asserting that this whole 9/11, releasing the information, releasing the truth is a conspiracy theory because she's, suggesting that Saudi Arabia, and she's made this clear that any other government could have any potential involvement or had any potential involvement in the 9/11 attacks. That kind of transparency is important, not only for closure for these families, but also transparency that's necessary to protect our own national security, to prevent any kind of future attack, and to be careful of who our allies are, within the world, She's worked closely with supporters of Hindu nationalists in India who sees the country's million-strong Muslim minority as a major problem. They tagged the article, which is that Caravan article that, what's his name? Peter Friedrich wrote. And again, this was the guy that Pasta had asked, I think it was in California, he asked him, do you have any proof of these claims that you're making? And he said, I don't have the proof with me. So he never, carries around that proof. He just says a bunch of stuff and hopes that it, resonates. And again, Tülsi can't control who donates to her. She can't, in terms of regular Americans, they have to be American citizens. They have to be, I believe, above the age of 18. I'm not really sure how they expect her to be, to be vetting her donors to make sure that no one with any kind of, political affiliation in India that could be potentially, troublesome or whatever, like a Hindu nationalist, whatever, pro BJP, whatever it may be. She doesn't have that ability to vet those people. Anyways, but then of course Intercept writes an article and they say that some expert just went through her donor list and found Hindu sounding names and then just equated that to Hindu nationalists, which is absurd. But anyways, now finishing up the article, now she's trying to make Islamist terror a focus of the Democratic primary, reminding voters in case they had forgotten that there is something there to be afraid of. This is probably the most, I skimmed through this article before, so that's why you're seeing my reactions like this. But is this person suggesting that you shouldn't be concerned with religious extremism and Islamism? I guess, because there's a difference between Islam and Islamism, because anything that ends in, ism is a ideology. And this is exactly the Salafist Wahhabi, the Wahhabi Salafist ideology. So I guess this person is asserting that she is making something that is a threat to our national security because we are funding, extremist groups in Syria. We're supporting them in Yemen, directly and indirectly. That's been our foreign policy. That is an issue. And I guess this person doesn't want to believe that. And I guess that proves their entire bias within this whole piece, which is supporting Saudi Arabia, supporting Al-Qaeda in Syria, and now this. Oh, okay, Islamism is not we shouldn't be focusing on this. It's not that big a threat. Okay. Finally, last paragraph. Hundreds of other members of Congress, many of them far more senior and more mainstream than Gábbárd, were wrong to bolster poisonous theories about 9/11 when they blessed the 2016 bill that implied there are still questions about Saudi ties to the attacks. Gábbárd is wrong to do it now. That is the end of the article, folks. So I hope you enjoyed that. This is the silliest article I've ever read. Honestly, it was probably one of the worst because they did everything bad you could possibly think of. And I would be so ashamed to be this person, the author of this, Ahmed. I would be really ashamed. Yeah, he provides expert commentary for MSNBC, Al Jazeera, which is Qatari funded. Okay. Seems like there's a pattern with these people that work at Al Jazeera. Al Jazeera recently wrote it was not recently, maybe a month ago, they wrote a smear article on Tülsi, and it was all about Syria. And that's why she campaigned anti-war candidate, because she doesn't support Al-Qaeda in Syria. Obviously, they didn't say that specifically, but that's what they were implying with their entire article. So yeah, it was, read it for yourself. Enjoy. This is like this is like for comedic purposes. I feel like you should just read this because you won't believe that it's real. So, okay, so now I'm done. So I can hang around here for 30 minutes or I can leave. It's up to you guys. But what did you guys think of that article? Oh, remember Pierre Omidyar? Yeah, is the billionaire against Tülsi, who owns Civil Beat and The Intercept. He also has interest in India, thus Hassan's job. Yeah, he was the one, yeah. Hang around, okay. She's dog whistling to Islamophobes. I don't know how though, because it actually, so what would you do? You would just let everyone from Syria into the country? Everyone who we give priority to? Because I'm assuming that if we were, if we were to have some, I should read this safe bill because I feel like it might have said something like victims of the Assad regime or something, some kind of suggestion that these would be people in the opposition, right? Because there are obviously many Syrians who want to remain in Syria, but do have to leave because it was, there's been so much destruction. But tell us about the view. I will. Okay, sorry. Okay, so at the view, two things. So, well, actually, might be three. Yeah, three. Okay, so first, when Tülsi first confronted Joy about that, they cut to commercial. You probably didn't see this unless you watched it live. But what they did is they cut to commercial break, right? And then in commercial break, Joy looked so pissed at Tülsi. Like she didn't want to look at her, and she did not want to stand next to her, to sit next to her. She just looked like she drank like a gallon of lemon juice or something. It was really funny. But yeah, so that's the first point that you didn't see, obviously, because they weren't, that was a commercial break. But second point is at the end, or almost at the end, of their segment, Joy and Megan, I believed, or maybe someone else, they had somewhere else to go, so they left. So then I was sitting very close to Tülsi, to the table where they were sitting at, and then when Joy was walking by, there were these people next to me who did not like Tülsi, and they're big fans of The View. They did not clap for Tülsi really, and they seemed very frustrated every time she was talking, and especially when she was confronting Joy. But then Joy came up, and then she was like, she's not going to win Democratic votes with that behavior. So that was really funny, because it wasn't Tülsi just being like petty or anything. She literally was called a useful idiot by Joy, and she confronted Joy about that to hold her accountable for saying, for making these baseless accusations. But to Joy, that was just her, having a bad attitude or whatever. So that was the second point. The third point is then when Tülsi was going off, they were still covering things for a little bit longer afterwards. But when Tülsi went off, when her segment was done, Whoopi went up to her and she was talking to her, and I couldn't hear what they were saying, and I'm bad at lip reading, so it was useless. But it looked like a student that did something wrong that they had a justification to do, but that the teacher did not like. And it literally looked like a confrontation between that, like a teacher and a student. And it was funny because Tülsi didn't like, she wasn't ashamed or anything. Like, she wasn't like, oh my God, I'm so sorry. Like, she didn't make any kind of concerned faces or anything, but it was just her and Joy. Just like, it was like very intense for maybe like 3 minutes or so. And Whoopi did not look happy with her. And I'm assuming that's because they had an entire segment planned out, and Tülsi came in like a wrecking ball and just decided to gear the conversation towards what Joy had said to her and the entire smears that have come her way. So that was basically it. It was really funny to see. And I like how Tülsi stood her ground though, and how she didn't, how she wasn't like, I'm sorry, I shouldn't have said that. She has no regrets for that, which is good. And she's probably not going to be invited onto that show again. But yeah, that's it. Let me know what you guys think about that, because I think it shows that she's very unafraid. And I think she did something similar that she did at the debates too, where they asked her something and then she flipped it right on them. So I think she did a good job. Yeah, she took over the whole show. Whoopi is disgusting. Yeah, she was not happy with Tülsi. Yep, they definitely ducked that smoke. Yep, Tülsi is a star. Thanks for the insight. Tülsi the lion-hearted. I came in like a wrecking ball. Yep, that's how Tülsi was. Trump is Lion King. Yep. Okay, so you guys can ask me whatever. I'm going to clip this out later on. You must have been laughing sitting next to them. Yeah, I was really annoyed because they weren't giving Tülsi credit. But it's cool. It's cool. So what do you guys think? Your streams are back? Yeah. Modi received one of the highest civilian award Highest civilian award. What is that? Like Palestinian, sorry. Wait, oh, Palestinian. I thought that said Pakistani. I thought, that's interesting. The issue with SAFE was that Tulsi felt, I missed a bunch, but you can't deny that she has as well. I don't know what you guys are talking about. So proud to yep, I'm proud to call myself Tulsi supporter too. I assumed it was because she screwed up their segment structure too. Yeah, exactly. Good for her. Yeah, because I'm assuming that they would ask her about the same stuff that they always ask her. And I mean, they ended up asking her, oh, will you consider a run for independent party, like third party? I was just, she got so pissed. She was just like, I've been asked about this hundreds of times. I say the same thing every time. But what is the basis of the anti-Modi smears? I mean, someone was saying how it was started by Pierre Omidyar. I don't know how you say his last name, but he was the founder of The Intercept. And I think that's where those smears originated from. I don't know. I don't know what the purpose is of the smears besides just to harm her reputation. Megan Trust Fund baby. Oh yeah. When Megan was talking, I was just like, I actually like this woman now because of how decent she's been. Like when she was calling it McCarthyism, but whatever. Oh yeah, she won over the View's own audience. There were some people in the comment section who were saying, I usually like you, Joy, but this was just absurd. Less than a year ago, she said that she would not stop offensively fighting terrorists until, where did she say that there would be no more terrorists? I mean, the threat of terrorism will always exist, like even domestic terrorism. So it's not, you can't eradicate it 100%, but she does support selective drone strikes, and she supports not funding the terrorists in the first place. You wouldn't really see much terrorism if you don't do that. And also if you're not, this goes back to the blowback aspect, which is if you're not occupying countries for indefinite periods of time illegally, you have to, the US has to prove itself to be an ally to Middle Eastern countries if they want to see any progress. Do you have any friends with late stage TDS? I don't. The only two friends I have are conservative. So, yeah, it was really sad to see Joy really, she didn't even buy the notion that, I mean, it's an obvious fact that Hillary is a warmonger. Yeah, she won't call out Modi to their liking. Yeah. Tulsi needs to point out that yes, I think she did. Yeah, she did need to do that. She has done that before, but she did need to say that Russia. I think she did need to refute that whole troll farm whatever claim, and say that this was, NBC had written this article. Glenn Greenwald debunked it, I think the day after. I don't know, the same day. Doesn't Pierre? Yes, he does. He also founded eBay, I think. So he is definitely a very rich guy. And he's gotten some funding from the State Department, I believe, as well. Hey, Sophia, are you going to New Hampshire this weekend? I am. I guess Goldberg was upset that she was not allowed. Oh, yeah. Was upset that she did not allow them to ask a question. Yeah. Mm-hmm. New knowledge is called Yonder now. Are you serious? Calling out Modi for Kashmir. Yeah. And for being, I guess they just want him to say it, like they want her to say that he's a fascist. Modi is Hindu and anti-radical Islam. Okay. Yeah, that is terrorism. What we do is definitely terrorism. We can't forget that. Sophia, which of these? Oh, the major contributor? I would say the latter, because That's how Al-Qaeda began, was because we purposely funded those groups, you know, to fight against the Soviet Union for Al-Qaeda. But then also the invasion of Iraq did create a vacuum for ISIS. So I think it's a combination of both. But I think the problem is that we will partner with whoever we want as long as it's in our interests. And we will definitely, our entire foreign policy is the enemy of my enemy is your friend, is my friend, right? Yeah. So I think that's the issue with our foreign policy too, is whatever is in our best interest, we will do no matter what, even if it's counter to our interests in the long run. It's only in that we have a very short-term thinking for foreign policy. Not we, but leaders in our government, and because they don't care in general. But I think that definitely needs to be debated. Yeah, the real useful idiot, Joy Behar. That's exactly. Did you see the humorous? Yeah, I saw him say that. Is the guide to call out on Kashmir. Never watched The View, but my view of The View is hateful bickering sellouts. Yeah. Has she given a time frame when she'll drop her Medicare for All bill? I don't know exactly when, but they're still working on it, and it's taking a while because that's how any healthcare bill, you know, will go. It's funny that calling Modi out when the government has been great. Yeah, I know. Stupid. My live feed went back in time. That's funny. Human Support has been so disappointing. Yeah, I know. I stopped watching him after the whole censorship debacle with Carlos Maza and Steven Crowder. Where's Niko? He's not here right now. I'm here right now. Then that's imperialism, not radical. Yeah, I do agree with you there, but I guess when you said imperialism, I thought more so our occupation of areas, but I guess you're right in terms of imperialism also being just like our wanting to work for our interests. In that case, it was like anti-Soviet interests. I guess, yeah, that's fair enough. But I think that the ideology is problematic though, because we fuel it to support our own interests. So it's just like a mix of both. I think both go hand in hand. Single payer plus, yes. What Modi did in Kashmir ensured the equality of women, minority, and decriminalization. Yeah, that is true. Are you busy tomorrow? Can you come by Port Authority? I don't know who that is. I don't know who you are. I usually stop by Port Authority. Yeah, Carlos, he definitely did. You're doing a great job. Thank you, Reed. This lady far more pleasing to the eye than Niko. To be fair, that's really mean to Niko. But thanks. Thanks, loved. For the Justice for Tülsi event. I don't know what event that is for. The deep state used to be a conspiracy theory. Okay. Muslims are an easy group to present as people who hate the American lifestyle, but that is all BS, and Tülsi is on that BS mind frame. I don't really get your point here. There are several people who hate the American lifestyle. Okay. What your address? Twitter. You're on the right side of humanity. Niko, good. Sorry. Thanks. There is something that makes an invisible about Tülsi burning. True. I think Niko is adorable. True. Yeah. Who's a Niko? What's a Niko? Where's a Niko? Do you think I shall finish top 3 in New Hampshire? Yeah. I think she could tie or win. The Kurds are, well, to me, both of them are pleasing to the eye. You know, that's the right response. That's the right. Thank you. Yes, he does hate when you misspell his name and you just misspelled it. Tulsi is a unifying president. True. The Kurds are. Oh, you deleted your message. How can we follow Sofia? My username is sofiaxzaldivar, SOFIAXZALDIVAR. I can put it in here. Hold on. That is my Twitter. And if you guys, oh, thanks for the super chat. Niko Tulsi's also a spiritual leader, akin to public schools with an option. Yeah. Niko is Tulsi PR that makes her look worse than if you ever knew Niko. Okay. You're entitled to your own opinion. Even though he's a Tulsi surrogate, so I I don't really know what you. He's not hiding his bias. He's endorsed Tulsi, but we're not here to defend her at all costs. We do have some criticisms of her, and we discuss them often. So if you want to believe otherwise, that's your it's a free country. Single payer plus. Can you explain some of it? Yeah. And I have to go in like 10 minutes or 12 minutes or so, because Convo Couch is going to be live. So you guys should stick around. But yeah, so basically Tulsi's plan is everyone pays into the Medicare system just as they do now, but it's just expanded to everyone. So it's obviously taken out of your paycheck. She might do income tax, but I think the way that they were planning on doing it was just keeping it that way, which is just out of your paycheck as part of your taxes before income taxes. And then that'll, it'll offer comprehensive coverage. Everyone pays into it just like they do with public education. It's a public good. Even if you don't use it, even if you purchase, even if you continue to pay for your own private insurance, you can do that. And am I missing anything? No, that's pretty much it. But the bottom line is that every single person is covered. It's not a public option. If you think that it's a public option, you don't know what a public option is, because a public option means that you still pay out of pocket expenses. So you still would pay for, deductibles, copays, and premiums. They would just be 7 to 8% lower in terms of the cost, which is still a lot of money. And the whole idea is that private insurance companies will then gang up and they will reject the sick people and, flood in the healthy people, so that the public system is just the sick people. And as a result, it'll bankrupt itself into failure. That's what the bottom line is. But the whole concept of it is, it's kind of like the whole public school, private school thing, where it's just like, there's really no reason. I mean, obviously we do need to increase funding for public schools so that all of them, it's at a level playing field, and that we're not I think we're number 27 in education in the world, which is incredibly sad. But, we should make sure that the public is the best, so that there's really no reason for you to go to, private school in that case, or have private insurance. There would really be no need. But, unfortunately we live, in a world where people are kind of resistant to the government. So even moderate Democrats, they'll support Medicare for all who want it. You can talk to some people, they won't support like a government takeover of healthcare. So Tulsi's plan is federal. The states are not involved. Yeah, they aren't. I don't know if anyone said. Is Niko Spider-Man? He's not. Guys, we Muslims want to call them radical Islamist because, yes, exactly. And that's what Tulsi has stressed before, because again, it's actually Islamophobic for you to just put everyone into the same category and then not differentiate, because you need to make sure that you're pro-secular. You can't just lump everyone into the same category and assume that an ideology, a political ideology, is the same thing as a religion, because then it's just, you're conflating two different things that have nothing to do with each other. You need to make that distinction. So yeah. If Tulsi drops out, do you have? No, I do not. Maybe Green Party if Howie is not nominated, but she's not dropping out. So do you think the profit motive fuels imperialist tendencies in general? Absolutely. Joy Behar is a disgusting individual. True. Destroying MIC, Medicare for all. I think the two are equally important, but I think you need to destroy the military-industrial complex. That needs to be a priority for everyone. When you keep vague, it affects all Muslims. Yeah, exactly. You have to be specific. I agree with you, Ahmed. Sounds like it might be Australia's. Yep, it's the same thing as Australia's system, and potentially Denmark's. I was looking into that, and I know that it's similar to the UK, not in terms of it being like a public doctor, public hospital system, but in terms of insurance where you're allowed to buy complementary insurance, that sounds like what it is. Do you know why Modi is terrible? If you're asking me, I've already said I'm not here to like defend him or anything. Oh yeah, yeah, good point. Silva Surfa, they talked about vets. Under Bernie's Medicare for All plan, it would take people off their TRICARE. I believe it would be only if you're active duty. I don't remember what it is exactly. But it basically would make it so that any of your like dependents who have been using your TRICARE healthcare, that they would be off it, and that they would be implemented into the Medicare system. And I believe it's if you're like a veteran in general, I think you would just be automatically enrolled into the Medicare system, and that would be your only healthcare option instead of the VA, which isn't great. Where do you study? There's a good article comparing all those different systems. Thank you for answering all our dork questions. You're welcome. Healthcare costs must be capped. Yeah, of course. And that's an issue also with the Senate healthcare plan. It doesn't have any caps for spending, whereas the House bill does, in terms of hospitals, and providers and stuff. You need to have that, or else the government is going to, the system is going to be bankrupted. If folks who opt into private still fare their, yeah, that's the point. I mean, the point is to make the public insurance so, comprehensive and superior that no one is going to be buying into the private insurance, Watch Hitler, the greatest story never told, required viewing. Okay. If you agree with imperialism as the profit modem, then isn't it better to impose by focusing on economics? What? Like foreign economics as in the IMF? Or because it's the way when you say economics, it kind of sounds like you're just talking about domestic policy, which has nothing to do with that, and you have like the UK healthcare system that was funded, by UK imperialism. That's not really, you need to have a balance of both, which is neither. I'm like neither imperialism, neither, people not having healthcare. You want to make sure that everyone is covered without you, relying on imperialism to do that. Eat the rich, dibs on Zuckerberg. No thanks. Do you know if her health bill will cover holistic care? I think she will definitely have that as an option. I'm sure that private insurance would cover that. I'm not sure I think I talked to Niko a little bit about this. I think it might include something. I think that would be an interesting, aspect of it if she did include it. Why do Tülsi people have to downplay people like Modi to seem like she wouldn't associate? She doesn't associate with him. I mean, she met with him. So yeah, by economics, I mean economic theory. Okay. So again, you can have domestic socialism, but that's not international anti-imperialism. And that's how, I mean, like, obviously you can have a country like Scandinavia. Scandinavia is not a country. You can have a country like Denmark, or the other Scandinavian, countries within the Scandinavian model. And those are incredibly imperialist, but they have a social democratic economic system. I don't know why you would think that that's superior to what we're doing now. I don't think that's superior, not morally. Private insurance is just a middleman mafia. True. It's HuffPost comment section. Why would we expect it? It's not their comment section. It's their outlet. True socialism is not domestic. I mean, the term socialism is just worker control, or you can have government control. You can have any kind of communal control over the means of production. So that's kind of vague for you to just assume that, okay, that obviously means, I think that it should mean that, but that doesn't mean that people necessarily who adhere to socialism can't be nationalists too. You can have a national socialism, which isn't good. I'm back. Hello. Capitalism, greed is completely absence of light, warm. Yeah. All insurance should be nationalized, remove the profit. Okay. Will it cover medical cannabis? That would be cool. I think it should definitely, I know she's working on being able to cover prescription drugs. I don't agree with the notion that you should, have a cap. I think it should be free for everyone. I think that a system like the UK's NHS is really good in terms of prescription drugs. I think they paid $10 though for it. But yeah, Modi has been targeted in India for a long time by the entitled and corrupt media. He definitely has been targeted, but I think there are some valid concerns with Modi for sure. Modi was banned from coming into the United States because he was recognized as a terrorist. Get your facts straight. There are a lot of right-wingers who opposed Modi at the time because they had been forcing, Christian fundamentalism onto those people through missionaries, I believe, and he cracked down on that. And they largely opposed that. So that's why you had a lot of Republicans that wanted to revoke his visa so he couldn't come here. Hello, Alexis. The US takes that cake nowadays. Sweden got decimated by open borders. I'm not claiming the Nordic countries are superior, even socialist. Okay. But I'm assuming you're a Bernie supporter? I don't know. I can't tell. Sweden is on fire because of open borders. Tolstoy supporters don't play downplay. Yeah. It has to be international. Are you still a firm? Oh, wow. I got to go in a minute. So are you still a firm believer in socialism? It's definitely superior to capitalism. But the majority of American people don't feel that way necessarily. So they banned Modi. I think he must have defied them in some way. Yeah. Soros equals no borders. Do you like Sam Cedar? I don't. LOL, I live in a town called Denmark, the opposite. Really? That's cool. I didn't know that they had that. UK NHS drugs are free. I heard that they were $10. Okay, that's cool. Modi was involved in a massacre of Muslims. No, he was cleared for that. You can dislike Modi, but you can't, spread lies about him. He was cleared with a majority opposition Supreme Court, the STI. He was cleared in 2013. He came to power in 2014. And then people continued to say that no, they hid evidence, and that was debunked with later investigations as well. So it continues to be debunked. Are you going to be debating Yellow Vest too, or is it just Niko? Apparently Yellow Vest just wants to do individual. Okay. Opinion on PAYGO. I don't think I think, MMT, in order for you to have MMT, you have to have the reserve currency. So that isn't, in order to have the reserve currency, kind of need to be imperialist, and, you have the petrodollar there too. So, but yeah, I'm gonna exit this Screw Sam Cedar. True. All right. I'm going to include this video, and I'm going to include my my PayPal, my my Cash App or whatever. So please donate to that if you can. So all right. I hope everyone has a nice day. I'll talk to you tomorrow. Bye.